Welcome everyone. Today we're going to solve the number 35 Leetcode question considered easy called search insert position. As you can tell, there are a lot of likes, meaning that it was indeed a very easy question, but let's break it down. Given a sorted array of distinct integers and a target value, return the index if the target is found. If not, return the index where it would be if it were inserted in order. You must write an algorithm with O, log, and runtime complexity. Okay? So, as you can tell here, if we're given the nums as there are example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different scenarios, as you can tell. Okay, and we're given the same nums as an input, but actually there is a variation of a target. Okay, let's take a look at the first example. If target is 5, we should return 2 because in this case we have a target inside an array, given array. We have to return the index of the element, which is 0, 1, 2. Okay. Second, if target is 2, which doesn't exist in here, should exist between 1 and 3, that's index position 1, so that should return it. What about 7? If it's 7, it still doesn't exist. This should be located at the last one, so it should return 4. 0 is the 0th one. And if target is 0 and, Okay, so that's easy. But first, let's take a look at the edge cases first. Edge case in Python or a programming language means that it's sort of the extreme, exceptional cases where we need to take into account, and it's better for us to think of it as your kind of barometer cases. Okay, so let's take a look at example. So let's say, what if? Let me see. So there are 4 scenarios. First of all, what I'm saying is, okay. So let's see. If target is less than, right? So given the fact that all these arrays are sorted, so there are 2 scenarios, right? Okay. Actually, there are a couple of scenarios. Let me just write it down here. If let's say nums is 1, 3, 5, 6. Scenario 1 is when the target is less than the minimum of sums of nums. I mean, in this case, okay. Scenario 2 is if target is when the target is larger than max of nums. Then what should we do? Scenario 3 is when the target is inside nums. Scenario 4, when the target is not inside nums. Okay, so there are 4 cases here based on the problem. If the num is 1, 3, 5, 6, the target could be located at the very first, which is less than the minimum of it, or in between some around, okay, which is inside, but yeah, inside nums. Actually, we have to think inside nums. This means target is literally inside nums, right? In this case, it's gonna be like 3 or 5, and then the 3 is when the target is not inside nums, means it should be located somewhere, but it's not exactly the same as one of these values, right? And the target is larger than max is located at the very last. Okay, let's take a look at the code. So when the target is less than, meaning if target is smaller than or less than the minimum of nums, which is in this case num sub 0, right? As you can tell, this is sorted, right? You can say like min nums, but I just put it this way to make sure. Return, what I will have to return is actually 0, right? Because as you can tell, is we have to return the indices of that. If the target is smaller than the minimum, then it should be located at the 0th index, so we should return 0. That's what we need to return. When the target is larger than max, then if target is larger than max means the last element of -1, right? All we need to just return length of nums. Because that's what it needs to be located or placed, right? Third, when target is inside nums, if target is inside of nums, then what we need to do is we definitely need to look through each element, and we have to check, hey, if nums of I is matches target, then we definitely need to return that ith index, okay? What about the last cases? If target is not inside of nums. Okay, we already covered these 3 cases. Okay, first, please pay attention to like the reason why I number like this, because I want to first start with the very exceptional small cases and eliminate those cases. And the last when we step, when the program hits like line 26, it already assumes that okay, so target should be located somewhere inside nums, but the target is not necessarily the same as any of the element. So if target not in nums means, then what I mean by that is for I in range of length of nums, meaning when we iterate the nums, we should say, hey, if nums of sub of I, is it greater than target? Meaning that in this case, if sub of I is 3, is it greater than target? Then what we want to is we at the time we want to return I, right? The reason why it's not checking smaller here is if this is like, let's say 4, there are a lot of elements that are smaller than 4, but we want to include when the target is just smaller than the nums of I, meaning we want to actually, let me speak the other way around. I want to like embed the target in this position where at that value of nums of I just got greater than the target, because that's the exact position. In this case, 0, 1, okay, which is the three's position. So that's why this. Let's run it and see if this is working. I bet it works. Runtime add or return outside function. What's going on? Oh, so everything should be indented, right? That indentation matters so much in Python, so you better watch out for that, when you do your coding. Global some target. I guess I have a typo here. Target. Okay. These are all good debugging process that helps you understand what's going on. Num. Okay. Again, it should be nums. Okay. So a lot of typos. So it's because I could like multitask. You have to run code 2, simply drag in a few seconds or subscribe to reduce wait time, okay? So I guess probably need to wait. But in the meantime, I just want to point it out that I want to tell you that these first 2 scenarios are very obvious. Third is also obvious, okay? But the last one is when the target is not in nums, I mean, if that's not, if the target is not somewhere in between nums, means we have to include that target somewhere, but we have to find how to do it, and this was the key, line 28. Nums of sub I is what? Actually greater than target. That's when we need to return. In this case, 3 is greater than 2, right? Target 2. So we want to replace this 3 with 2 positions, and we want to push the 3 to the one right. Okay. That's working. I hope it works. Again, it works. All right. So this was working pretty fine, and please leave any comments if you have any questions or concerns, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll keep posting, and I hope you have a great day. Okay. Bye.